Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the StarCraft 2 World Championship Series. I'm Nathaniel, joined by Paolo Cats Vizcarra.
Oh, very, very, very nice. You're very good with your R's. Where did you learn that?
Working on it. I'm just, just one of those people that likes doing too much voice stuff.
Have you always been like this? Like, have you always had the R's
Good
down?
with the R's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So since a young age, you've been trying to roll your R's.
I've been rolling my R's. I think I probably might have been. It's funny. It was on TV last night. It must have been like Ace Ventura or something. It was something I watched when someone did it. I don't know.
How did you learn? Did someone tell you where to put your tongue? Because that's the secret.
I just fell by imitation. I don't know.
Very impressive.
I don't know. I never thought it was that special, and then I found out some people are actually very bad at doing it.
Well, yeah. If you don't train your tongue from early enough, you don't know how to do it. It's like it's difficult to, like, I just do it naturally, but I think you're better at it.
I definitely have to try though. I can't do it naturally. Like
Vizcarra.
But
if you think about the motion, right? Your tongue is on top of on top of your mouth.
Yeah.
So
in a way,
it's not so simple to explain how to roll your R's, I suppose.
Yeah. You know what is simple to explain is rolling banelings, which is something we could see in this matchup as we get into our second match for Group C for Chicharrones.
Chicharrones?
I don't know if I pronounced that properly.
Chicharrones is what you were.
Chicharrones. Is that how you say it?
Yes, sir. That was
Okay.
perfect. Yeah.
Group C for Chicharrones. As we are loaded in, bottom left, we have Vindicta, our Terran player, Miguel Marmolejo.
Oh. And on top of him, on the right, it is the man who knows nothing and yet manages to qualify, JonSnow. Defeated by Fire Alarm in Season 2.
He was, yeah.
Jared George.
Jared George.
Indeed.
I like it.
Oh, he's doing it! He's doing it! I love this man. Okay, so I think what we're gonna see is, well, that makes no sense, does it?
No.
But it does. Because I think what he's gonna do is he's gonna go 3 hatch before pool, only the 3rd hatchery is gonna be at its natural expansion, so that when the SCV scouts the hatchery, it assumes that there is an early pool, backs, and doesn't move out with the Reaper, and then JonSnow gets away with 3 hatch before pool. Never mind, he's making a gas. Well, this was too next level for him. Then I don't get it.
So it was almost a big brain play, but now it's just...
Now it's just that I don't know why you would put your hatchery there at all.
Maybe he doesn't know either, since he's JonSnow. That could be...
He just, yeah, that...
Maybe he
that
wants
is a
him to
valid
think
point.
that it's just a regular one based...
Or a hatch, proxy hatch, right? Like, proxy hatch is the only thing that comes to mind here.
Yeah, he's checking his 3rd. He's probably going to check the other base now, too. So there's that. His SCV's kind of just chilling here. And he could still get, right, the really fast 3rd anyway. But I like where your head's at, Cats. That 3rd could have been even faster.
Yeah, it could be a 3 hatch before pool, because if you're a Terran scouting for that hatchery, you don't go all the way up if you scout the hatchery late, right? You just assume that Zerglings are going to pop up. So this is a next level mind game that I just revealed for you guys. It only works on good players.
The Reaper was just chilling at home, too.
Now, this mind game you cannot do if you are not playing very good players. Even the Grandmaster League, sometimes, they'll see it and they'll still scout up the ramp. So you got to be playing someone like Polt, and then you can trust them to do the right thing. If the other player doesn't do the right thing, this does not work. If you play someone
bad like me, my SCV's going into your main regardless. You're going to see that it's not a pool first.
Right. It has to. Now I can't stress this. You make me feel bad all the time.
No, it's fine. I don't build a Reaper, though, so I would always do it anyway.
Oh, fair.
Because I don't go Reaper.
Yeah. All right.
Also, I'm not on anybody in this game's level, so it's fine. I don't feel bad about that. I'm just aware.
Well,
it's a type of fun thing that you could do, though. You're not wrong. I think a lot of Terran players, if they don't see, you kind of have an expectation when you SCV scout. If you do SCV scout and they go hatch first, it's supposed to be about like halfway done on most maps when your SCV gets there.
Right. And it's a very similar timing.
Yeah,
very
and
similar.
The pool is usually just starting. So if you show up in the hatchery, if you do like a regular SCV scout at like 14, 15 supply and the hatchery is at red health, then you're thinking, then all the alarm bells are supposed to go off.
Right.
So I think you could still fool another player, but Yeah, if they go into the main to double check, then it can get weird.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Vindicta's going to go for Marauder Concussive Shell, which is interesting. So this isn't something that we normally see, a little bit of Hellion Marauder action to kick things off. But
Yes,
perhaps
indeed.
it's a 10 trillion IQ play, hoping that the Zerglings chase back and into the slow zone, and then he can get a concuss. Never mind, he cancels everything.
Yeah, now JonSnow did something to capitalize on this position as he drops a very early creep tumor spawning from the third base. So we'll see if he has a plan to follow up with this or a reason for which he thinks that this creep tumor is particularly important or this position is particularly important, because, you know, that is consistent with what he did, is he spread creep as early as possible, basically.
I like that. I mean, that's just a really great way to take advantage of this, because it opens up that straight lane to get across.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to go through the slow zone, so spreading the creep through it isn't as high of a priority. Like,
yeah.
The Zergling speed boost, you're not worried about Speedlings being slow on creep, even in a slow zone.
I'm gonna pull an Athenius here, though, and ask, did you know that even with the slow zones, this is the fastest rush distance map in the map pool?
I did know that, yeah. It is the shortest. I think it's still only 32 seconds worker to worker from main to main. Which
means it's still probably better to just spread through the middle, no?
Yeah, unless he's worried about position. Like, because the big thing about the slow zones, in my mind, is if you get forced to take a fight in it. Otherwise, it's not really a huge deal. It's only when you get caught in a weird fight where, like, the Terran's able to siege up on it or something, or like you put a random Widow Mine there because the Lings won't be able to run away from it or split as fast, you know?
Yes, indeed. A little bit of misfire here by Vindicta, not quite getting the drone that he was looking for, and the Banshee will be forced to pull back. Very, very nice creep thread by JonSnow, who definitely does know how to do that. And there is a double up.
Ooh. He just canceled Stim and started Hyperflight Rotor, so he was waiting for the scout from JonSnow to be killed.
He was watching.
He was really trying to sell him on something here.
Waiting in the shadows all this time, all his life.
I mean, I am missing this song reference. I'm so sorry, Paolo.
It's okay. It's pretty obscure, I would say. So, yeah, is there additional starports? I'm not sure. Like, would you like to see an additional starport? Or?
Nah, I don't think you need it.
Okay.
If you retain your early Banshees, you're fine, because then it becomes more about just having the versatility. But yeah, he goes for double armory. I think investing in the infrastructure for the mech is more important, because Banshees, I mean, they're not that hard to shut down, frankly speaking. So unless your plan was to go that's just that takes the wind out of the sails. But unless your plan was always to go mass Banshee, which is I don't think it's that good versus Zerg, honestly.
Right.
Then you're usually thinking about getting into like the Cyclones, the Hellions. So you really want that gas to be put towards getting to 3 factories. Otherwise, if your Banshees die or if they're attacking, then you just get like A-moved by a bunch of Roach Ravager. And we've seen it before where you got 3 Cyclones and 10 Hellions. Guess what? Roach Ravager attack destroys you.
Right.
Dunks on you. And he's actually getting siege tanks. And I love that, because that's one of the easy ways to lose when you try to go battle mech, is you just get A-moved by Roach Ravager before you have a lot of Cyclones.
Absolutely. These Banshees haven't accomplished anything, though, really. And he is gonna, invest further into them. Now, upgrades, if you want to look at it that way, if you only make 1 Banshee and upgrade it, then you may as well add the cost of the upgrade to your 1 Banshee, right? So now it's divided in 3, and that's why I was questioning whether there should be a second starport or not, because, it makes it so that the upgrade is essentially cheaper or sees a lot more use. Now, that said, this looks pretty sexy. Banshees are pretty difficult to catch, so this is just going to be harassment potential for him. And I would have thought defense is a big pro here for the Banshees, but they're going to be kind of caught off position on the other side of the map.
Yeah, that's where it gets tricky, because the Banshee moves across, and this is why I was talking about the siege tanks. He doesn't have a tremendous number of them, just 3, and he's going to be going up to 5. But the Roach Ravager counterattack is really dangerous. The fact that he immediately lifted the command center is a bit conservative, considering that, of course you're going to bring the rest of the Banshees home, but The big play is to be able to grab those Ravagers, and I'd say it's almost a mistake that... No, it is a mistake. Like, he should have been able to get most, if not all, of the Ravagers there. But they do kind of bully everything to the side, and you can pick off the creep tumors.
Yeah, and actually, had he committed for those Ravagers, even if he ends up losing a Banshee to the Queens, it would have opened up for these Hellions as well, right? Because that's where the army was primarily located. So, yeah, I really would have liked for the chase to continue there from Vindicta, just maybe not having the presence of mind to realize that these Hellions were a threat in themselves.
It's a very weird way to play, though, because he's just... It's a bit reckless, right? Banshees with speed, they have some degree of map control, but not really as good as Hellion Cyclone for trying to, like, actually pick stuff off.
Yeah.
Since the Hellion Cyclone just synergizes really well, but Hellion Banshee doesn't really in the same way. That only makes me a little bit... Like, I'm wondering what's going to happen when air units pop up, because he has not... really invested anywhere in terms of, like, there's no missile turrets, he's not getting cyclones, he doesn't even have multiple starports to try and go like Viking or Battlecruiser or Liberator. He doesn't even get mag field like as like a precaution. So my assumption is that at some point he's going to switch into a lot of Thors.
Yeah, picking off some free Hydras here and there though, until the Banshees get somewhat pincered. We'll only lose one for his troubles, but we'll have to repair those two if he wants to move out again. But they are too fast for the SCVs.
I mean, Paolo, I think we can both agree when you look at that Terran defensive setup right now, there's Vipers being built. I mean, if you're JonSnow, you're a hungry boy, and there's nothing that's going to stop you from going to town on this buffet.
Yeah, you're just going to abduct the ones on the edge, and then maybe look for later Blinding Clouds. So it's nice for Vindicta to spread them to account for the Blinding Clouds, but that also makes it easier for the abducts themselves. We'll see the Hellions here trying to do something, but quick reaction from JonSnow as he pulls the drones back.
So he is going to start switching into some Thors because that's the only option he has with the infrastructure he went for. But I still don't think that he's going to be super safe against the Vipers. If I were, I mean, at this point, because of how entrenched it is, like, you could try to go for a YOLO Blinding Cloud and take a big fight. He has servos, so Hellbats that transform will make diving on the tanks pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a reliance on just the abduct, make use of the abduct, try to get up to Broodlords, just be mindful of the number of Thors, because once there's enough Thors on the map, Broodlords become actually quite bad.
Yeah, it is a choking map though, all over the place, so that is kind of annoying for the Thors as well, and beneficial for the Broodlings. Yeah. So that might come into play too.
It's getting building armor now. Yeah, I want to see abducts. Abducts are the big tool here.
And we're going to see it.
There we go. There's really not a whole lot to be done against this because there's just not a tremendous amount of anti-air. Pull in the tanks, kill the tanks. Those Hellions in the choke point not doing too much. And I like it.
I love it.
I want some more of it.
And we shall have it.
There we go. And just yoink, yoink.
Meow, meow, meow.
Did you know that it's actually the medical opposite of yeet is to yoink?
The medical opposite.
Yes, they're two halves of the same coin.
Yoink is the opposite of yeet? Oh, yep. That is good to know. I always learn when I cast with you, Nate.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm just here to make sure that we all know the important things.
Indeed. Now, a lot of tanks were taken down. I almost would have preferred abducts on the Thors when possible if your transition is going to be Broodlords. I love that he is making a lot of Roaches, but he's also added on Corruptors. So we'll see if he goes for another trade here with the Abductorinos and whatnot.
Yeah, this style from Vindicta looks like he wants... It's just...
Ooh,
it's not. It's never going to give him what he needs to push out. Yeah, he's getting nukes. But what just bothers me about this is I don't see where he tries to push with this. Like, it would be so dangerous with this many tanks and such little anti-air when your opponent has Vipers and could be going into Broodlords. Like, at some point, I think you got to try and switch into, like, Big Thor.
Yeah.
Like, going for nukes out of a defensive mech position is you're just going to have so little gas, and you're giving the whole map to JonSnow. So you're, at that point, just kind of hoping that JonSnow slips up and walks into a nuke.
Yeah, maybe a little bit too reliant on those Banshees to attain map control that he has not been able to control. There's a lot of creep all over the place from JonSnow, and he has done a great job of that from the very beginning. That is one of his biggest strengths, I think, in this game.
I just want to see him go for a push, and
look at him.
It's really hard to get a push going when you don't have a maxed out army. and your money's going to nukes instead. But these could be big plays right here.
Yeah, a few of those ghosts getting picked off, but the nuke not quite being spotted.
Nice.
Nice. Nice.
Nice. And then, okay, Banshees will pick off this base.
Ooh, 157 supply for JonSnow. What happened to the rest of it?
It's dangerous, but he's doing okay. I guess his strategy is
it's working so far. I mean the nuke really shouldn't land too well. Maybe he has Alarek as his announcer too. Like nukes, I shouldn't be giving out this information, but if you nuke me, you will win. Because Alarek's just bad at it.
Alarek's very dismissive of nukes.
He really is. It's like nuclear launch.
Oh no!
There may or may not be a nuclear launch coming your way right now. It's difficult to say. Okay.
I'll trust you, Alarek. There might not be one.
Indeed.
Fusion core coming in. Okay, I like that he's moving into more Thors. It's just weird. I haven't watched someone like actually try to play like Turtle Mech in a while, and that's pretty much what this looks like. He just doesn't want to actually attack. He wants to just run around with ghosts everywhere.
Yeah.
But I think Mech is really strong if you get a good number of Thors. Once you realize you're not going to get A-moved by like 60 roaches.
I don't like this though. Like once players start doing this, I kind of get happy. If we're looking to spread the map, you know, nukes are not free. So if you're looking for cost efficiency, this is not the way to just nuke for spore crawlers, in my opinion. Now this is something that Maru does, so many would disagree. But I don't dig it. I mean, that's 400 resources that he just used potentially on nothing.
Oh, and if the ghost dies,
okay,
that's
well,
pretty bad too. Well, if the nuke
lands.
Okay, well, that was pretty sick. It shouldn't happen, but that was pretty sick. And now he's going to snipe the rest of the Broodlords. And a bunch of Hydras and these Broodlords are all caught in the slow zone.
Yep.
So I take it all back. Vindicta basically got JonSnow to kill himself, and I'm very impressed by that.
Very, very impressive indeed. So
because this should never have happened the way that it happened, but okay.
It should not, but it's pretty good. I think that if you were to go for this, just to theory craft on what's going on here as the game ends, I think that Liberators are a great addition to this kind of play, just for sorting off planetary fortresses.
So in retrospect, I don't like the Banshee play. I didn't like it. Didn't make any sense. I think there were some other, like this build is a classic example of why I think like a BC rush into mech is really just like the Banshees sniped a base.
I like BC rush,
but I feel like early on he just didn't really get a lot for it.
Right.
Like they helped kill some creep.
Yeah.
But they didn't really defend the third base because he built siege tanks for that. But
there was a Spire made.
Hyperflight rotors and cloak.
Right.
And 4 Banshees. And the key thing that they did was, I think the biggest thing they did was they sniped that base on the right side.
Yeah. I mean, they picked off some units on the retreat, but I think even defensively they could have done more though.
Yes, I agree.
So yeah, I think that he should have used that velocity to get back and.
What a weird game. I mean,
a bit earlier.
It
comes down to the nukes that hit.
Yeah.
Nukes hitting, 2 nukes hitting in a row. It's just like, what do you do?
Now I'm getting the PTSD coming back from last season of Challenger. I remember now. Vindicta's whole meme is all he does is nuke. He nukes every single game.
He is the North American nuke.
TVT,
yeah, right.
TVP, literally every single map he went for nukes. So now I understand. He wanted to play mech, but he didn't want to win the game before he could drop 5 nukes. So now it actually makes sense that he just kind of turtled up, even though I thought he had a really good position to try and push. Like he had a bunch of tanks, took care of the Vipers, didn't lose too much, and he was close to maxing out. And I'm like, okay. Never mind. Now I realize Vindicta will probably do the same thing this game, except try to drag it out even more and drop more nukes.
Nukes are pretty exciting if they land, so let's see if we can get excited for this one, as JonSnow and Vindicta will be going to Acropolis, a Greek building of some sort. I forgot.
Yeah, somebody in Twitch chat was talking about it yesterday. People, they feel very strongly about the things that that happen and that they see on the internet. Some people were very upset about me talking about Marauders having the same range as a Colossus because 6 and 7 are not the same. But it's close enough. With Colossi are dummy thick, and my point still stands.
Right.
Of course, but some people were upset that we joked about Acropolis being a StarCraft map. Can you believe that? It's true, isn't it?
It is true. We are in it. We are objectively.
We are literally playing a game of StarCraft on the map Acropolis.
That is correct.
And it's on the screen. It's written. The word is there. So you can't even argue that it's not there. It's so in your face.
It certainly is. Now JonSnow taking a normal third, going back to
a normal third?
a normal natural. My God. People are going to be so upset now.
No, I love it. No.
They're going to be like, that's not a third.
I only thought that was funny because the last game, the natural was the third.
Right,
base,
that's where my brain was.
Yeah. I thought the exact same thing as you, and then I'm like, wait, we're being silly.
There is going to be a pretty fast gas as well being taken from JonSnow. We saw that paying off as he picked off the Reaper last time around. And JonSnow is a player that seems to favor still the fast third. So some corners have to be cut as you don't have the economy to do all of it. So we're most likely going to see something like skipping the queen at the main in favor of a queen at the natural if he goes for that third. Because otherwise, the problem with this Nathaniel is that the Reaper can deny the third almost indefinitely if you don't drop it before the Reaper shows up.
Yep, that's very big risk. So I've got a question for you, Paolo. As a fellow, experimenter in the StarCraft world.
Yes.
This map, it's kind of neat in a way that for Protoss and Terran, you can just put one 2x2 building to block the Reaper Cliff in the main. Is there any way to try and do that with Zerg that isn't like bad? Have you tried?
No.
Have you ever? No.
No, you would have to drop a creep tumor into a Evo chamber would be the best thing that you can do, I guess. Okay. Otherwise, a hatchery, a macro hatchery really early on, but
would that actually block it? Because big buildings are weird.
Yeah, they are a little bit weird. You're right. Yeah,
I don't know.
Sure. Haven't tried it.
So it's weird. It's hard to do weird stuff with walls because you'd think a spore, but those things are really weird with what they do.
Yeah.
Unit blocking.
They really are. They're very slippery.
Yeah.
Or slippery friendly, I guess. So the third will be denied up until the time the link speed finishes, and this is what used to be the case back in Wings of Liberty and for I believe most of Heart of the Swarm. This build was okay, I was gonna say.
Forget about it.
Yeah, this build was pretty standard. Even at the start of Legacy of the Void, people would still open with a fast speed in this matchup because they were so used to it, but it has kind of fallen out of fashion because with a faster economy, that means that you need your third a little bit earlier because your money, you got money kicking in.
Yeah.
You need larva and
need that money, need that larva.
Indeed. So does manage to take the third though, regardless, before link speed. So that's a nice win for JonSnow there.
The starport really late. It's about it. I mean, this okay. Yeah. So he goes to the 3 CCs really fast.
Very fast.
Yeah, and the starport ends up being a little bit late. It's kind of like me showing up to cast here. So
is that a restaurant down there?
A restaurant? Oh,
yeah.
BJ's? There's a few of the Clam Shack. BJ's Clam Shack.
Ooh, is there?
Come get your clams.
Where is the beach?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. There's little villa things next to it that you could eat at.
True.
But yeah, no,
not sure where they're getting.
There's not really any scenery here. I mean, I guess it's like trying to go eat in like downtown, some non-coastal city.
Okay, but then you're not getting fresh clams then, huh?
Yeah, the clams are pretty important.
Yes, indeed.
I know someone who says clams like the word clowns, and it's been in my head recently, so seeing the word clams, I've lost my focus.
I keep thinking clem now. I wonder.
Clem?
Yeah.
Clems.
Yeah, like that's where he should park
Clems, clams, and Clown Emporium. Boom, there you go. If StarCraft doesn't work out for you.
Yep, he should next time he plays here, like he should park his medevacs by the clam shack. All right.
Oh yeah, you know what? Now that you say that, I'm even more confused because it doesn't look like a shack at all.
It does not. Yeah, it's
anywhere that lets you eat outside upstairs somewhere is usually pretty nice. I wouldn't call it a shack by any means.
And that's a lot of seating room as well. It's not like
a lot of people go there. Like that's like, oh, let's go for Sunday mimosas and brunch and clams. I just don't get it.
Oh well. Yeah,
maybe it's gonna close down soon. I don't know.
It must.
It's only open for one season of WCS.
Yeah, and you can't even get there if you're like you can't actually.
Air unit.
So yeah. All right, a lot of creeps, red and queens. Banelink speed being researched as double. Evolution chamber also makes its way into this game.
Life's good.
Indeed.
I'm having fun. I'm having fun here. So he's going to go bio, but we all know where this game's really going to end up now. Now that I've remembered, it's going to go back to nukes at some point eventually. Maybe we'll have a little bit of cheeky bio, but he'll slow it down and go straight to probably an earlier fourth. Just trying to understand the enigma that is Vindicta.
He is a very enigmatic character.
Indeed.
Yeah, and JonSnow will be making a macro hatchery here as he pushes onto his fourth. It's been a pretty passive game. There's really not much aggression on either side. And that is by virtue of Zerg being Zerg and Vindicta wanting to nuke.
Yes.
So we'll see what goes.
And he's setting himself up with the most Heart of the Swarm style, by the way. He's like getting the second factory on the tech lab.
Sloppy.
Hellions get caught, but he's going Widow Mine, so it looks like it's going to be Marine Mine, Medevac. Although I'm already just waiting for whenever the Ghost Academy goes down. Probably when the third's completely established and he's thinking about getting the fourth.
Yeah, you definitely can't rush it too much.
The dream for Terran is getting the 4 base set up, and then you can go for your late game tech with whatever it is. With most of these styles, you don't even take the gas on your third and fourth until you're ready to transition.
Yes, indeed. Oh, look at this. There's the drilling claws.
I hope that he doesn't try to stall this game, because I think Marine Mine Medevac versus Ling Bane Muta, that should just be a fun little game for us to watch here, huh?
Oh, I love that. It's so fast-paced.
Yeah. I missed... There's like that period of time where it's like you really missed playing it, and then between the Baneling health buff and early on in Legacy with how good Ultralisks were, this like style really died hard. Also, you know, I'll admit, obviously the Liberators
the mine nerf as well, by the way.
The mine nerf was a big part, but Liberator damage was also... You couldn't build Mutalisks at the start of Legacy of the Void.
Right.
You build like 5 Liberators and they kill 100 Mutas in one shot, so...
That was nasty.
Miss those days.
I actually liked... The one thing is that Liberators were never... people don't really micro their Mutas that much, but if you fan them out enough, the Liberators always had a little bit of trouble, even when they were the most powerful option. I
love that you're trying to give some benefit of the doubt, but the Liberator's area of attack, that when the Liberator attacks, it does its full damage in the same size of a Psystorm. It's the same radius as Psystorm.
No way. I don't think it fires backwards. I think it fires in front only. I'm not sure, though. Well,
yeah, in front, but wherever those missiles hit, it's like a Psystorm right there.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Its splash radius is huge. You're right, though. If you make a circle around the Liberator.
Yeah, kind of like you do with Thor's. Like the magic box.
Yeah. But did you know that the Thor's AoE size is actually about the size of a Ravager Bile?
Oh, it's tiny, huh?
Yeah, it's really small.
I did not.
I always ask myself, why not just make the Liberators one a little smaller and make the Thor's a little bigger? Yeah, and then you don't have to mess with the damage numbers as much. But anyhow, I don't know. We got Marines running around.
We sure do. A few Mutas are going to get focus fired here as the Banelings push through to clean that drop. Another very small drop up at the top will probably end up getting cleaned up as well, as JonSnow takes a hefty supply lead. We'll see if he's able to capitalize a lot of creep tumors. This man is a man of creep tumors. And those Widow Mines will not be... Oh, a little bit wasteful with the Banelings there. Actually, the mines more than paying for themselves just in that little trade.
I love drilling claw builds, though. He's adding extra barracks, getting the 4th. So we'll see probably that transition at some point soon, unless he gets a juicy enough mine shot that he can turn a parade.
There's Burrow. So JonSnow is going to be looking to do some Burrow Baneling tactics, and it is well justified.
Those Thors, the chomky boys, dummy thick, blocking the wall.
Yeah.
And most of the Banelings get blown up. He kills the Thors, but most of the Banelings are gone.
Yeah, hardly an efficient trade there by JonSnow, especially with all the army firing behind it. Very well positioned by Vindicta, however.
Yep, and the Zerglings are going to come up now. Mine burrows.
Mutas.
Wow, okay. That's a good grab on the Overseer. I thought it was going to drag over the Marines.
That was a little bit monkas by JonSnow, though. Without Banelings or anything else, I'm not sure what he was hoping to accomplish with just Ling Muta. Yeah. And this many Marines. I mean, like, I don't know that I would ever engage with,
and he's pushing a little bit towards the edge of the creep here. With, as you said, Paolo, with not a lot of Banelings.
Yeah. This is very troublesome for JonSnow, who just threw away a 50 supply lead.
Don't worry, though. Tech Labs are building on those racks. I'm waiting for 3 Ghost Academies to start. He won't push to end it. He won't push to end it. He's going to go for Ghosts first.
Good upgrades here coming for Vindicta as well, as he travels to the south with a medevac.
Yep, and this is one of the most important moments playing Bio versus Zerg, getting the 4th base established here. If JonSnow can push him off of this for long enough and some of those tier 3 upgrades kick in, like adrenal glands, and he can get some big tech out, it's going to become very difficult for him to establish his economy. You cannot afford to lose the 4th base in TVZ.
Yeah, Corruptor's also on the way, so we're likely to see an eventual transition into Broodlords. Yeah, not very many units spent there to do that. Very nice drop, and JonSnow actually saw this on his screen, but he hasn't taken note, and so this hatchery will fall. Like, he saw it traveling to the south with a Muta even.
Yeah, that Corruptor eats a Widow Mine to the face. That's what I love, though. When you can create some chaos doing this style, and you have Drilling Claws, and you can kind of scatter those mines around, it's great.
Yeah, that is nasty.
It's like a glitter bomb gets popped over the map. You can never get rid of all of them, cats.
Yeah, and it is, you know, you have to keep conscious. It's a lot of extra thoughts. It's like, oh my god, where was it? And like, it's just annoying, and you have to go hunting for them with overseers, or just do something like, you know, even if they don't do as good as they might, you have to like send circlings. It's very action taxing for the Zerg player to deal with this style.
But he just gets the scan on the Greater Spire. 4 Broodlords are finishing up, so he needs to use the mobility of his bio to keep the Zerg away from his base long enough that he can get up the Ghosts. Ghost Academy came in pretty late for him, and he's only building just the 1, which is just flabbergasting to me. But we have a single missile turret trying to hold on to this 4th. Not good.
I'm not sure if he needed to evacuate there. You need at least 14 Muta worth of damage output to kill a missile turret.
Okay, well, I got really excited for a moment there.
Yep.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
That's
wow.
what I was waiting. That's what Daddy wants.
No bueno on the Thor pops out, but he doesn't
okay.
wanna. Okay, that's cool. Little bit of a drop, and that's where his attention was spent as he travels through the shacks.
And yeah, hey, how weird is that too? There's another clam shack on the same map. Like, how many?
Like there's 2 of them. Yeah.
How many non-coastal clam shacks do you need?
Especially when neither of them has any customers that can access it. You know.
I do, in defense of the map, in the top right and bottom left corners, there are beaches, so the clams it's possible that the clams are still fresh.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I had not noticed.
So we don't want to get any lawsuits towards WCS from
the Clam Shack owners.
The Clam Shack owners. We don't
There
want
is
BJ's
2.
Clam Shack to come after us.
Wait, is the other one also BJ's? Is this like a McDonald's type deal?
It could be a chain. It could be.
There's no way to spot it, is there?
I don't know. We'll have to dig into the lore. Oh yeah, you can look at. I looked at the sign actually. I did it at the start of the game. The one in the top left also is a BJ's Clam Shack.
Oh wow! So it's like a Starbucks, McDonald's level thing for
high scale clam eating.
Yeah. All right.
I knew it was going to happen eventually. It was foretold from the moment that I remembered who Vindicta is. It's going to be nukes on nukes on nukes. Yeah. And they worked pretty damn well in game 1.
Oh, yes.
Oh, those overseers. You're going to need those soon, buddy.
You certainly are. This Marine's trading quite efficiently, pulling a lot of the army back for JonSnow.
He's got lib range, too. You were talking about that last game, Kat. It's going to be very helpful for setting up any
wonderful,
sieges.
Yes. I think that if you're going to split the map, then lib range is fantastic alongside with the ghosts. In my experience as a player, I really liked, especially in Heart of the Swarm, when Broodlord Infestor was thought to be invincible. And I was very much into that type of split map situation. What I struggled the most against was something that very few players did, but the ones that did, and by that I mean like 1 or 2 people, the most annoying thing was this, snipes, and then retreating onto liberation zones and planetary fortresses, because snipe is so very efficient and it is so difficult to engage onto like, what do you do, right? Like, if the Viper shows up, you snipe. If the Corruptor snipes, you snipe. It's just the setup is so very difficult for Terran to get to, but once you're there, it is so powerful.
That one Ghost stayed with the army the whole way and ate several Banelings and then died.
Yeah,
oh, wow.
Yelled his heart out.
Big Marine group over at that base, but we've got a nuke that's going to be coming in hot over that expansion as he tries to take another one. And goodbye, drones. Goodbye, drones. Bye-bye. Toasty.
Toasty indeed.
That's like a Zerg hot pocket, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm really curious as to what his announcer is, because I really think that the announcers do matter when it comes to nukes. you know?
If we are looking at his vision with like the V key while an alert goes off, we can know. It is possible.
Oh, let's do it.
But you won't know doing it on yours. Our observer will have to do it when there's an alert.
Okay. So what is the secret to this?
You'll hear the audio, unless we have it disabled. But I think we heard the Tastosis announcer on one of the other players. So if we're looking at his vision when an alert goes off, we will know.
Oh, okay.
Or we can always ask him after the game, too. That's possible.
Yeah, that works as well.
A lot of Broodlords.
There is a lot of Broodlords. These liberation zones are not doing anything against the brutes. There is no anti-air.
Oh, the Corruptors are here now. I was going to say, if you get a window and you can have all those...
There's the snipes, though.
If you can have all those Liberators shoot the clumped Broodlords, even with how little damage they do, you will still rip and tear through. And there we go. The Marines are going to charge forward. The Baneling's not really reacting too much to this. He's trying to bait him with the nuke.
Yes, indeed. Many more Broodlords being made by JonSnow. Obscene amounts of them. And Ghosts are gonna somewhat struggle against the Broodlords. That is for sure. But Corruptors are gonna kind of struggle to do anything about the Ghosts. So I would love some Vikings, and here they are. So now the Corruptors are the answer to the Vikings, but there is those Ghosts to answer the Corruptors.
There are Infestors here too.
Yeah, the Overseer is the primary target here, more so than the Corruptors, in my opinion. You get rid of that guy, then your Ghosts are safe.
Big fungal.
Very
big
big
fungal.
fungal.
Air units reduced in health. If you can get rid of the Corruptors, though, I don't hate the idea of unsieging the Liberators to help deal with the Broodlords, because there are so many of them. They're so close.
Yeah.
They're so close together.
Yeah.
I think we can see Infested Terrans lobbed out.
Scan?
No. Scan. Mine?
No.
No. And here we go. Rocket launchers blow everything to pieces.
Yeah, looking good for JonSnow to equalize things against Vindicta as the Broodlords proceed on to the next base. And we could see a nuke attempted, but not gonna do anything this time around.
The Hail Mary nuke. Unload the Metaverse! Look at that.
Oh,
Watch
no.
these zombies. Will the zombies die to themselves or to the nuke first? Wow, nuke
To themselves.
Feels bad, man.
Feels bad.
That's just... Could you guys have lived for another second just so we get to see that animation? God, so callous.
Is it a different death animation?
Well, yeah, they get blown up in fire.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that'll be way cooler than the normal Infested Terran way that they die when they time out, which is actually kind of dark. We got the Corruptors over on this base. They can just pee all over it or cover it for the Broodlords. Either or, both work. The Ghosts are here. Are there no Banelings, so he's gonna charge it.
Yeah, but that's not enough Marines, I want to say. Not kiting with the Broodlords either.
Infestors are here now, too.
There they are. GG is gold.
JonSnow ties the series up. And I kind of liked the momentum that Vindicta had going. Like, he had those mines by like the base on the top side, and he just kept killing stuff. His first
did a good job of clearing the creep as well through the middle of the map.
Yeah. Something went wrong. Was it with maybe he was splitting off too many Ghosts to try and get nukes off that he didn't have enough to snipe with?
I think he got caught setting up for his latest game, right? Like, he had the Liberator set up. He didn't quite have like planetary fortresses or a lot of turrets or enough Ghosts for that matter. He had like 5 Ghosts.
It did feel weird that he was dismantled by... Because there weren't a tremendous amount of Infestors, and there weren't any Vipers. It was
and there was like
Corruptors.
5 Corruptors.
Yeah, it was. At the end, it was like when that fight happened, it was like 10 Corruptor-ish, maybe a bit less, and 15 Broodlords. And he had like some Vikings, but no, he just didn't have Ghosts. Like whatever.
He had like 5, 6 Ghosts. I mean, he used a few to nuke on the sides.
Yeah, and that's why I'm wondering if that was perhaps a part of the problem.
A little spread too thin, right? Like, just doing a little bit too much at once.
If he had more time to build another wave or two of production and like max out on Ghosts, then I like it.
I like it. Yeah. But a difficult thing to do. That, I mean, that is the weakness of that transition, is that it is so very expensive and there's so many pieces to it that it's very difficult to
Did not help that the no missile turret. And I don't know if there was one that the Broodlords just killed, but having a turret there so that you can stop those 5 or 6 Infestors from burrowing and dropping 15, 20 grenade launcher monsters underneath your rocket launchers.
Yeah, at that point that felt like
I thought it was already over. But
yeah, but still, he could have scanned as well. All the Infestors would have died like instantly, right?
It's insult to injury.
So we're gonna go ahead into King's Cove.
We've been informed by our wonderful observer, Awesome Sauce. We have a man on the inside.
Yes.
Says that he's using the Abathur announcer. JonSnow is.
Try to remember how does Abathur say the
nuclear launch.
I don't know. That's maybe close to
I think that's good. I think that's the gist of how an enthusiastic Abathur is, and that might play into.
The lack of enthusiasm is a part of the problem. Like
like if Diva says, "Hey, you're getting nuked," then it's like, "Oh my gosh!"
Abathur's like,
"You won the lottery."
Like that's you're not getting me jonesed about that, man. You're not getting me jonesed about it.
Yeah, like it would be cool if you could mix announcers that just only use Diva for the nuke. Because for me, Diva is.
Like no, you're 100% right. Get someone a little more enthused.
I've heard your nuke announcement is very much to the point.
Yes, I try to make all the important ones are meant to be to the point, except for the one I have.
What's yours for the nuke? What's your first?
Well, I have nuclear launch detected. I also have nuclear lunch detected, and the other one is hope you like nukes because there's one on the way.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think helps.
I like it
because I say nuke the loudest in that sentence was like the focus. I wanted to have it be a little funny because there's only so many times that you're gonna get nuked in a game.
Yeah, of course. I like it.
Thank you, Paolo.
Yeah, so long as you're not Abathur or Alarak, I guess. They're just way too unenthusiastic for this.
I definitely think I make a better play-by-play caster than Abathur, so.
Yeah, quite for show.
Beautiful storms, tasteless.
All right, there's gonna be a pool, not a gas this time around from JonSnow, so I already appreciate this a little bit more.
On one of the few maps that we have seen people do Reaper memes as well.
Yeah, I mean, it is a good Reaper map because the entrance from the natural, there's a jumping spot from the natural to the to the main, and from the third to the main. So this is one of the best Reaper maps, and it's the one that he decides to delay his gas on, but not by too much. This is pretty reasonable.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought he was going to try and reach for the third base
same.
Before he took the gas.
Yeah. That's kind of my go-to default.
I think the drone is still there. It's on the low ground. So is he waiting for the Reaper timing? No, he can plant this way before.
Oh.
That's an interesting third.
Very much so.
Break this down for me, Paolo, because my feeble Terran mind cannot comprehend.
I mean, JonSnow took the very strange third last time around. This third makes more sense than that one if you're looking for the creep spread, which we did see him prioritize last time around. Now, if you want creep spread, it might be for a couple of reasons. The main reason that most people would do it is to try to be aggressive, so I would love to see something like a roach timing push out of this. But with all of that said, that doesn't sound like JonSnow, so I think he just wants creep.
Seems good.
Yeah.
Pushing down the middle on this map. We do see a lot of Terran pushes actually go for that center base. So establishing it early on with especially a lot of creep could be a huge boon to the defenses.
That is a thing that he prioritizes, right? Like JonSnow seems very good at creep.
Yeah.
But
he's not a creep, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to clarify that. He just likes to creep.
Yes, indeed. So the Reaper will make its way into the main base. This SCV is still guarding for the third, and Vindicta might think that he has a chance of delaying or denying it, but the third is already done.
There's a lot of beach on this map. There's a lot of beach on this map, Paolo, and I was thinking about opening up my own franchise.
Yeah.
I think you could fit a Nate's Clams in the corner or something. I'm just putting it out there. This map has way more beachfront property. How is there not a villa somewhere here?
There's a lot of potential wildlife as well if we look at the coral reefs that exist on this map.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's straight up treasure on this map somewhere as well. There's a treasure chest somewhere. I'm like, how did nobody open up shop here? Where is the capitalist spirit? What happened?
It went away because there's clearly been dinosaurs killed also on this map.
That's true. I guess we've got a couple million years before we get to those.
Yeah, if they haven't cleaned up the dinosaur bones, then
we're not ready for a BJ's Clam Shack.
Indeed. So that treasure chest is probably not like metal that would be universal, right? As you would find in the world of StarCraft. Of course, like gold, silver, these things.
This is a big scout, by the way.
Very big.
I'll go back to talking about the game for a moment. I thought he was going to start Blue Flame and do like an old school meme build. Ooh. But fast mag field accelerator versus Zerg. This actually because of this build being the one that he's going for, I love JonSnow's opener even more. Because the creep spread is always the biggest factor for catching Cyclones, right?
Yes.
So pushing that creep out earlier and earlier is going to be really big. And you don't want to use the Cyclones to try and like lock onto the tumors, which means you have to get really close to clean up the creep. And that's just not going to be easy, cats.
And young Nathaniel, I talked about roaches being one of the better ways to take advantage of an aggressive forward position and the creep spread that was to be expected, and that's exactly what we're getting from JonSnow.
Are we the best casters of all time?
We might just be. I
think we just crushed this one.
Yes, indeed. So we'll see if he does go for something like a 3-base push against his own nature.
He's got the third command center, so the follow-up for normal mech is definitely here, and he's going to get a starport. He does have a third factory on the way. The mag field takes a while to research. I think the key to this strategy is not losing the Hellions early, because you need to have a way to deal with the Lings. But Roaches are coming out. He's already got some Lings. We have a Dropper Lord being morphed as well, which could be used to break the lock-on for Queens and Roaches alike.
Yes, indeed.
With Overlord speed. So I would like to see the Hellions repaired, because I'm always a stickler for repairing mech units, but even still, there's a good opportunity to put some pressure here, but man, these Roaches are going to come out at a perfect time.
There's 11 circlings, so I would really like for the circlings to start flanking, and that's exactly what JonSnow is going to do. I don't want the circlings to counterattack, I want him to come behind the army and make sure that the Roaches have...
Yes.
Can surround, or at least, you know, they make it difficult for some of those units to move. But look at Vindicta's game sense as he finds the circlings with a single Hellion.
This is such a cool interaction because it's a very unorthodox setup for both players, right? With where the third was taken, going into Roach Ling Ravager. But it actually complements really well against a fast second factory build going into Battle Mag.
JonSnow, though, he's just gonna completely forgo this fight, but he will get spotted no less as Vindicta with the game sense once again sends the Hellion 2 spot for those Roaches. The Lings are going into the natural and going for after that wall as well.
I really like JonSnow's opening because everything that this game says to me is that Vindicta's plan was move out with Magfield and try to shut down the fourth base, but the fourth position is where the third was, so it was already established.
Still the Links around comes in, and yeah, this is good.
This is amazing. This is just an amazing play by JonSnow. His opening made him by default safe against this type of pressure, and let's not forget he didn't even get a fourth, so there was no fourth to ever have denied for Vindicta. His armories are exposed on the low ground. He drops the Queens in the main. And he's going to smite down this wall with that corrosive bile.
A little bit questionable not killing the tank, but the tank is actually going on the Queens instead of the Roaches and the Ravagers, so it's not going to matter too much.
GGR.
And JonSnow with a very consistent with his initial idea, goes for a Roach push. Yeah, I love it. The thing is, why Roaches, right? It's because, well, they're a little bit slower than Circlings. Circlings wouldn't gain that much of an advantage from creep spread or forward positioning, right? So Roaches are going to be the way.
It made defending the harass incredibly easy. If you wanted to take a fourth, too, it would have been much easier than... Because if you think about what happens in a lot of TVZs that we get to cast, that fourth base goes down. Maybe that's when Magfield finishes. Suddenly 2 or 3 Cyclones lock on, and they do a lot of damage with that upgrade. So you're forced to fight a little bit off creep to try and protect that hatchery. But because he took it so early with such initiative, those 3 or 4 creep tumors that get to the fourth are now getting out from the fourth.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Everything just rolled up into just a well-packed calzone of success for JonSnow.
It sure did.
With that being said, we're going to take a look at the rest of the matches. That sets up our winner and loser matches for Group C for Chimichanga, as we have Raze facing off against Vindicta in the loser match, a Terran versus Protoss. And you want some TVZ again? Well, don't worry. The winner's match will have Masa going up against JonSnow. But let us go to that US of A TVP showdown. Coming up next, Raze versus Vindicta.